People talk about wearing masks, and that's what it looks like the situation was. A mask publicly and the real self, removing the mask. Before we get into this next thing, this is our lead story for the day, and it's going to get a little touchy. Now, I would like to, we were talking about this before the show, and this stuff fires me up. And we've really gone out of our way to not talk about this over the last couple weeks. But if anybody feels uncomfortable, you don't need to say anything, but I'm going to be saying a lot. So we'll kind of go from there. And with that said, let's go back a couple weeks ago on May 24th, as this came out on the internet. A former guest we had on the show, Nick Rekieta, was arrested for drug and firearms possession. And I've said this before. I said this on X. Like, I don't know Nick personally. I don't know him at all. Outside of having him on the show, it was very cordial. Seemed like a nice guy, but perceptions may not necessarily match up with reality in this situation. So he gets arrested. He comes out, gets taken out on jail, or taken out on bond. And like I said, I don't know him. I don't know him personally, but this doesn't sound or look good, because since he's been released on bond, he's been live on X, or live on YouTube several times, talking about the situation. Now, I have not watched any of this stuff at all. This is not my business until it's something that I'm really, really passionate about. And I feel like the reason why we need to talk about this in this situation is we've talked about Nick Merckx many times and why he got called out with Call of Duty and why he got canceled, his Protect All Kids thing. And this very much for me, as a father of two girls, lines up in this camp, especially as the father of someone who was the age who was affected in the situation, allegedly. And I want to make sure that we talk about all this allegedly. It came out yesterday that there was a leaked court documents that were apparently not supposed to be made public, but were made public. That one of the things that happened, and one of the reasons why he was arrested, was that, and this is just beyond hard to say, the alleged court document states that YouTuber Nick Rekieta's 9-year-old daughter tested positive for cocaine. Once again, this is all allegedly. Nick is facing second-degree possession, child endangerment, and gross misdemeanor firearms charge. It says the child tested positive for cocaine at a level of over 5,000 with a cutoff of 500. I don't know what that means, but I know that the fact that if this is around a 9-year-old and you are exposing them to this, you're a piece of shit. And I say that in the most endearing way possible. You're a piece of shit, allegedly. He went live last night and he talked about this. There's about a 3-minute clip of him talking about it. And he didn't deny the authenticity of the claims or the documents, which is just crazy. That this is a situation. And we're talking about somebody who was one of the top YouTubers in the world not too long ago. One of the most successful from a monetary standpoint, from his audience perspective, and a guy whose public-facing image was one thing, and allegedly behind the scenes is totally different. People talk about wearing masks, and that's what it looks like the situation was. A mask publicly and the real self, removing the mask behind the scenes, where we're dealing with allegedly, multiple partners with, away from your wife, drugs, alcohol, all that stuff, and exposing your children to these things. That drives me crazy. It drives me crazy in this situation. And I think that I don't know what this guy's doing, as far as trying to go and say these things publicly or live streaming about this situation. Doesn't make any sense to me. I think he should just shut up and go through the process. And I don't know if this is true. I don't know how anybody could potentially, quote unquote, be on this guy's side. If you are one of the people that say, protect all kids, protect our kids, and you're exposing 9-year-olds to hardcore drugs, I got no place for you, man. I really don't. That's not normal men. That's not normal men behavior, and that sucks. Blabs, do you have anything on this? Do you have anything you want to chime in on this at all?
Not a whole lot. I agree with you. Once you have innocent kids involved, to the wood chipper. That's my thought.
I don't disagree. I think it's really disheartening to see somebody like this who literally had everything right there, family, fortune, like literally fortune, from YouTube, who let it all spiral out of control, man. And like I said, this is all allegedly. I want to be very clear about that. But if it happened allegedly, happened, he's allegedly a giant piece of shit. And I just got to say that because I don't know how anybody can, like, I know Cam's friends with him and stuff. Cam said, he needs help. Rekieta needs help. I mean, and if this is true, I mean, we'll certainly keep that episode up. I'm not for like scrubbing history or anything like that, but I don't want anything to do with that guy ever again. Even through like, and when this whole thing broke out, I mean, I reached out to him privately. I DM'd him saying like, hey man, I hope, if you need help, say the word. Man, I'm pulling that back. I got no interest if this allegedly happened. And this is just, as Time Patrol came and says the facts will come out when it's tested in court in August. Yeah, right. And I guess we'll see. So, and as Demio says, maybe this is pro Jared all over again. Maybe it is. But I think the difference between what happened with Jared and what happened here is that there were no court documents with Jared that I know of. There was all allegations. And, when you deal with like legal court documents, that's one thing. So that's kind of where it's at. And obviously I'm really passionate about this. It drives me crazy. And that's kind of where we're at with this. I don't really have a whole lot to say outside of that, but it's upsetting to see. And if it's true, go fuck yourself.